Okay, so my friends have asked and I am delivering. My name is Erika Schreck and I'm going to show you how to make my amazing stovetop popcorn. All right, so this is generally for a single serving, but you could definitely split it with another person if you want to share. Sometimes I don't want to share, so this is how I generally make it for a single or smaller portions. So I like to use a stock pot this is 4 quarts. Of course, you can use another size, but that's usually what I am using. You don't generally want to go any smaller than that. So that is something that I would recommend. All right, the next step that I take is I like to use coconut oil. I do vary what brands I use, but I usually go for the virgin or extra virgin coconut oil, always organic for sure. And so for this size pot, generally the rule of thumb is you want to have enough oil that's going to leave a very thin layer to coat the bottom. And so generally I'm going to use a teaspoon and I'm going to scoop some coconut oil. I'm not very exact. You can kind of see that's not even, it's not quite level, not completely rounded either, but I'm going to put at least 3 of those in this pot. There's number 2, and here's my 3rd one. See, I'm not aiming for super exact here. Can't really do this part wrong, but I would recommend about 3 teaspoons. I try to get every little speck. I haven't turned on the burner yet, so I'm just gonna get as much off as I can. And then I do recommend, first of all, having clean hands. But secondly, I like to take whatever's left and put it in my hands because Colorado, it is very dry. And coconut oil, especially the organic, it's great to put on your skin as well. And I'm sure you might even have some other uses. So extra little bonus. All right, so now we've got the oil in here. Before I turn the burner on, the next step you're going to do is you're going to put 3 kernels in here. But before I do that, I'm just going to show you, it's going to be easier because I can actually move this pot out of the way. And I'm going to show you what I do when I'm measuring it out. So I keep my popcorn in the bags. I'm going to show you those in a minute, but I just have this fun old tin that I use to keep my bag stored in there. And I've used mason jars, that kind of thing as well. So just have a good cool, dry place where you can have your sealed. So I'm just gonna put this down so you can kind of see what I'm doing as well. So I'm gonna put, and I like to use, I'm gonna make sure that is focusing for you, a 1/3 cup, okay? So generally, I like to measure out my popcorn. Now, I like to use our local natural grocers, and they have an amazing bulk section. So this is actually organic yellow popcorn, and I've got organic white popcorn. And I've got to tell you, I do a little mixy mix with these. And so in that 1/3 cup, I am just going to take the bag and I'm going to fill it about half. And again, you know, use all one type if you like. Even if you get your popcorn like this from the grocery store, farmer's market, whatever, I really do recommend organic, but you know, that's me. And generally, this does not take very long. That's what people have this misconception of. I have not had a microwave, by the way, for at least a decade now. And the most often asked question I get is, how do you make microwave popcorn? You don't need microwave popcorn, and it's so much healthier to do it this way. So now I've got my popcorn measured out, that 1/3 cup. I'm not going to tip it to the side, but just trust me, it's level. And I'm going to put that aside for now. And the next step is turning on the burner. You can still see the coconut oil in there. And I'm going to try to twist my camera here. So this is the burner. I don't know about you, but I've got to always make sure that I'm turning on the right burner. So I'm going to turn on the burner that I'm using. I turn it to about 7 on my stove, and so that's a medium to high heat. So what happens next is I am going to aim for melting this coconut oil, and I am going to put 3 kernels of popcorn in to melt with coconut oil. Now, it's not the end of the world if you happen to drop in an extra kernel or 2 or 4. But honestly, the best route, my dad taught me how to make popcorn, by the way, which I think is awesome. My dad has been gone for 18 years. He died very young, but this is one of our favorite things to do. When I would visit, he'd show me how to make popcorn. We'd enjoy the popcorn. 3 kernels going in that oil. And as it's melting, I like to do this too, to just, again, help it coat the bottom. So now at least we have a nice coat on there. Again, you know, you can always have a little less coconut oil, a little more. You can't really mess that part up. All right. I am getting my lid for the popcorn. This is not a professional cooking show, so yeah, this is real, people. Okay, I did my dishes earlier, and so I actually washed and dried my lid that I use this pot for. Okay, it still just needs a little drying here. All right, so I am going to put on the lid because you can already tell the coconut oil is melted. Usually I put the lid on a little bit more quickly. And so now we're going to let that, I'm just going to make sure those popcorn seeds are coated. And we wait for the seeds to pop, which is not going to be too long. I will jokingly tell you, probably not a good idea even to chance it and try to run to the bathroom unless you go quickly, because this part typically happens faster than you think. So again, we're letting that hang out on that medium-high heat. And I give it usually another swirl. Notice that I'm holding the lid, and I will tell you, you know, my lids have this nice little top to it that I can hold it with, but I have had pots where I had to have 2 pot holders, you know, just so you don't burn yourself. So, all right, so we're gonna let that happen. This is real time. I can already see the seeds sizzling. Let me see if I can get closer here for you. What you're wanting to do is wait until all 3 kernels pop. And then that's when you dump in the rest of the popcorn that I have sitting off to the side here with the 3rd cup of kernels. I'm going to add a few more kernels actually as I say that. Popcorn is my most favorite snack. Those who know me well know this about me. So you can see now the oil's really getting hotter. Sorry, I think the top of this lid is covering that 3rd kernel, but you'll at least see 2 of them. This is an action movie right here. Now you know we're getting really close because you can see that bubbling around the seeds. Always a fun sound. There's one. And I like to kind of give the other ones a little help. I usually swirl the oil a little bit. There's two. And it looks like three is, I don't know if it's gonna fully pop there. So yeah, it looks like that's kind of what it's doing, which is rare. Of course that would happen for a beautiful video. It's all perfect. Again, real life right here. Okay, because the main thing is you want to make sure all the kernels are popped, and that's prime temperature now for the rest to be poured in. Okay, isn't that so pretty? Yay, popcorn. All right, here we go. So I'm going to dump that in. And the most important thing you can do is lift now this off the burner and give it a nice swirl. So you're aiming for all the kernels to be covered. And now the magic happens. So the rest of the popping is happening. And while I mostly just will let it sit there, I do pick up the pot once in a while and do some swirling. That's the professional term, swirling. It smells so good. I wish I could transfer the smell to you, but you just have to make your own to enjoy. The clear lid is obviously much more exciting. I'm trying to, when I do that little shake, little shimmy, we're trying to get all the unpopped kernels to the bottom because those are going to be heavier and go there. And this is also the guaranteed way of making sure that everything pops. Okay, so not hearing any more kernels even when there's like very few left. I'm going to turn off that heat and I'm going to let that sit for just a moment to cool down. You generally do not want to open that until maybe a couple minutes have passed, at least a minute, maybe 2 minutes at least. So now that our couple minutes have passed, it's time to pour in the popcorn. Now, you do not have to do it this way. I'm going to show you how I make popcorn from start to finish because I have been asked to do so. So I'm going to remove this lid. You can see a lot of smoke. It's only been a couple minutes. But this is what I generally like to do just to get everything coated. And you know, you're going to love your own toppings, which you should do, but I keep mine pretty simple and light. So I like to pour in a little bit of a layer, and then I've got one of these, whoops, Mistos, and so I've got some organic olive oil in here, so I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to lightly spray that first layer, and then I'm going to take some coarse sea salt and put a little sprinkle there. Then I'm going to repeat. Again, don't have to do it this way. This is how I like to do it, and I make sure all my popcorn gets coated. I do the same thing if I'm making more, like in a bigger pot, which again, you can maybe just double what you do if it's a lot bigger stock pot. You're having a friend over. Little sprinkle, and then last bit. And I want to show you, no kernel was left unpopped. That is pretty fantastic. And again, just as a comparison, remember microwave popcorn having all those kernels? And again, that stuff is just so unhealthy. This is so healthy. You can control what you put on it, obviously. And I'm done and I'm ready, and I'm going to go enjoy my popcorn. And I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Eat more popcorn. And no one's paying me for any of the products that I've shown or used. And just want to share the love. Take care.